the State Room in the House of Parliament in Jerusalem. And let's see how Chagall went further and how he took this idea and actually developed a fantastic story, taking the history of the past, the present, and the future. We can learn a great deal from him. So let's take a look at it and appreciate even more, because you, I hope, will be trying your own interpretation of Chagall's work. Now here is Moses, and as you can see, he's got the two indications of light coming from his head. If you know the story, you'll find out that this figure here, which is in blue, is supposed to interpret God, and he's handing Moses the tablets. And Moses is kneeling, and he's not looking at God directly. He's looking down. And then here, these figures are the symbol. This is a coffin of the bones of David that they remembered to bring. Over here, these are the people who were victims of the Holocaust. Over here, further, you can see this is the cloud that separated the Egyptians. I love this here. There are the Egyptians' feet right over here that show them behind the cloud. Here's an angel who is taking the entire Torah and protecting these people. And it represents, here's the wandering Jew. And this is the Holocaust, where the 6 million Jews were killed. And all and every single figure in this represents the story of the history of the past, of the days of the biblical times, of the Holocaust, of the wars. And here you find the Jewish people who are Oriental, even carrying a palm here. It covers all of these things. Now, this is, again, the picture of Moses, and he's carrying the Torah here, but he didn't make it into Jerusalem. And remember, this is the Exodus into Jerusalem. But here is a child. Look at this beautiful symbolism. He has the child go first, and the child symbolized the youth and growth that will be there in the promised land. Over on this side, we have the story. Here's David when he was struck down the Goliath, and then he becomes the warrior. And here's somebody celebrating with giving him flowers. And then over here, it's David symbolizing at the entrance to Jerusalem in the Tower of David that there's been so much strife and so much work and so much worry. And finally, they're going to get in and becomes king. And here he is in his grandeur. Even the height and the coloring, which is a vivid red, has been made beautiful because of the whole feeling in this interpretation. And everything is light over there. And behind is the bride. The bride, if you'll notice and look down over here, is connected with this fiddler. And there, not only is David playing his lyre, but he's also indicating, Chagall indicated the musical figure here as indicating life in the bride and renewed a vision of all the beautiful things that are going to come. Now, you can learn so much from actually realizing that Chagall's way of painting was to tell a story. And everything that he did told a story, whether the figures were on their heads or whatever. They actually were symbols, and you can do that too. You can create an entire gallery of beautiful Jewish subjects, and you will if you watch the show every time it's on, because we're going to have something different each time for you. And we'll go back now, and I'm going to stop at this point and look at the picture and see. If there's time, we could put in the bride. Well, you could do that too. Now you've got something to go by. You have at least the figure here, and you notice this is much smaller and much lighter behind her. Now, over here, there is a symbol of Jerusalem and the Tower of David. I'm going to put that in and show you how you can do that very easily. Here, I'm going to take a knife and take some of that oil color, which is called gold, by mixing the brown and the yellow, and just make a couple of little dabs of color. That's all. Just make it up. Just a couple of dabs of color like that, and a line like that, and that will look, in a moment, when I switch to the small brush, take the dark color and outline that. That's going to indicate somewhat of that Tower of David. And that looks a little bit like what you do see on the tapestries. It's fun to do. And I can assure you that if you give yourself that opportunity to learn, you will. Now let's go and see what we can do. I'm going to put this picture back up again so you see where I'm getting it from, and put the bride in, because that, again,